So, a little background on the project. It started with an original study that the State Department of Health partnered with the University of Washington on. They developed a few different designs, the goal being to develop kind of a public domain technology that would be less costly than some of the private designs, proprietary systems that exist for advanced treatment of wastewater on a residential on-site septic system, and specifically to remove nitrogen. And so using a process called biological denitrification, which is a fancy way of saying turning nitrogen into nitrogen gas from the wastewater. So they developed these 3 systems, tested them in a pretty controlled environment at a wastewater treatment plant up in Snoqualmie, and they figured out that one of the 3 systems was going to be the one they're going to move forward with. So fast forward to our project, we are kind of following up that with an actual pilot study where we took that winner of those 3 systems and we implemented 2 of that same system, one down in Union and one at our office in Belfair, and are monitoring it. Well, we finished monitoring it now for 24 months, 24 sampling events in real world conditions, because that's very different than how it was tested at the wastewater treatment plant. They had very controlled, consistent flows, exactly how much they could control how much was going through them each day. Whereas in reality, you might be gone for a week. You might have a Thanksgiving event at your house, and you have a ton of people over there. You get surges, you get lulls, et cetera, et cetera. So that really, the biological activity in the system itself responds to those trends. So we're looking at how this system actually works.
Put it through the paces, and what are you finding?
So I'm working on the final report right now, and I don't have exact numbers off the top of my head, but overall they performed under what they had in the controlled environment. And that's not entirely shocking, but it is performing slightly below what we had hoped. That said, it still did a tremendous job at removing bacteriological pathogens like fecal coliform. That we all, if you live on the canal, you know about fecal coliform and how that can impact shellfish. And so it consistently did magnificent at that. And I'm actually in the process right now of putting together another study where we're going to look even more closely at the system's ability to remove fecal coliform specifically.
Is that the most important thing that you look to remove?
So nitrogen was the study that we're done with now, nitrogen was probably the primary constituent that we were concerned with, because that is a nutrient that can, if you have nitrates and nitrites going into drinking water, that is a problem. More specifically on the canal, especially with shoreline properties, you're looking at that nutrient contaminating surface waters like the Hood Canal, and that can lead to algae blooms and then the low dissolved oxygen issue. We all know about that. And, you know, there's a lot of other things going on that cause that other than septic systems, but it's a piece of the pie, and so it's prudent to, try to address that issue if you can.
So you were looking at this in conjunction or in relation to other septic systems that are proprietary. So you would go to the store or something and buy a brand of this. And this is more of an open source version. Is that
exactly. Okay. So the market is basically the market for advanced wastewater treatment to remove nitrogen is basically composed of many different proprietary systems that have patents, and companies, will install those systems for you and maintain them, but there is no open source system that can be competitively installed. So that was the idea, was to just, like a drain field is, no one has a patent on a drain field, or sand filters, stuff like that. Those are, you don't need to get a.
So in a day, many years from now, this could be a viable option for someone to choose if they're getting ready to build a house or something. They would say, well, you got these 2 options, or you can choose this different option.
Yeah, exactly. So depending on where you live, what your soils are like, where the groundwater is in relation to where you want to put your drain field. There are a lot of environmental factors that go into whether or not you can use a typical drain field, a pressurized drain field, sand filter, or even something more advanced like this. Local health departments will require you to get something according to the conditions at your property. So this could be one of the recommended systems that local health can recommend to a homeowner or installer if they're in a place that is sensitive enough to require a system like this.
So you're going to redo some of the testing. You're going to look at it again. How long is it this time? Another 2 years? Or
It'll be 1 year for the fecal coliform. But just next week, I'm getting together. We have a review committee on this project, and they're all kind of the experts in the field. And we're going to talk about the 24 months of monitoring, go over the results, kind of really put our heads together and make a recommendation about the system. And if we think it's something that is viable, if local health jurisdictions are interested. So the future of the system is, I don't have the expertise to make that call, but I really am excited to hear what the group has to say.
So when you look at the numbers and you mentioned that they are lower than maybe what the control was, is it because they were on a set schedule of putting water through the system, or is it because just different the different setup?
Yeah, there are a lot of variables, and I probably don't know all of them, and I'll find out more next week. But one of them was just the varying flows. That was definitely an issue. Another one was that the systems were designed for actually more than we saw going through them. So one of the systems was designed for 240 gallons per day at our office. And throughout the study, I was able to monitor how much each was going through each day, because the pumps, I could see how long the pumps were running, and I could calculate, okay, this is how many gallons the pumps are doing over the month, average that out. And it was about half of what the design was.
Wow.
So that has implications, because if you have too much surface area, and the surface area is for the bacteria that are breaking things down to grow on, if they're being starved because there's too much area to cover and not enough resource, being the nitrogen and the constituents in the wastewater that they're feeding off of, then you're gonna suffer.
Wow.
The treatment's gonna suffer from that.
So if you would have known that there would have been half the flow than what it was built for, you would have built it half, and maybe you would have seen some of the similar results. Interesting.
And so that's a very tricky.
I bet.
Yeah.
Deciding how big the area needs to be.
Yeah, because a lot of the estimates for how much flow a house or residence is going to have is based on just how many bedrooms there are in the house. And so, it's you got to get it pretty exact. Yeah.
Julian, where can we find more information about this and all the other things that you guys are working on?
You can look on our website, pnwsalmoncenter.org, and there's a page there on the project, and I'm happy to answer questions or receive calls about it. My email's listed on the website, and my phone number, and
Very nice. Very nice. Julian, it was nice to see you. Always good talking to you.
Likewise.
Coming on the air here. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, you too.
And we'll catch up again soon. Keep me updated on this project.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Do you know you have access to the fastest internet in Washington State? Switch to iFiber Communications right now and take advantage of our special offers. Pay only $29.95 for 100 megabit high-speed internet, or get 3 months of internet absolutely free. That's right, $29.95 for 100 megabit speeds or 3 months of internet free. Shop, stream, and game like never before with iFiber Communications high-speed internet. Call 360-427-4000 or check us online at ifiber.tv. Subject to credit approval, valid on a 24-month contract.